There was an assassination attempt thwarted. This is an additional attempt on President Trump's life, the third. I could sit here and, argue as to the rhetoric having a big influence on people wanting to kill this man. But, I've got a bunch of questions about it. And, but at the same time, I want to share this video with you. And actually, this is the reporting from an ABC outlet. And
The top at 6, the latest on President-elect Trump and heightened security at Mar-a-Lago, which is on alert as major meetings continue about the transition of power. And tonight we're hearing about a thwarted plan to kill the now president-elect.
3 people have been charged in connection with the assassination plot. And our D.C. Bureau Chief Ben Kennedy live at the White House with it all for us today. Ben.
Keep in mind that he mentioned there were the 3 people that were apprehended. I know that this happened in New York City, but let's hear the reporting.
Well, Nicole Calvin, the U.S. government did raise concerns that Iran might try and retaliate after they took out one of their military officers, but the DOJ says they stopped in and stopped the plan. 3 people have been charged in an alleged Iran-linked plot to assassinate President-elect Donald Trump. Court documents show the men who live in New York were hired by someone they met in prison, an alleged operative of the IRGC tasked with surveilling and killing Trump, to avenge the death of Qasem Soleimani, killed in a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad, January 2020. In his statement, Attorney General Merrick Garland said there are few actors in the world that pose as grave a threat to the national security of the U.S. as does Iran. The Justice Department has charged an asset of the Iranian regime who is tasked by the regime to direct a network of criminal associates to further Iran's assassination of plots against its targets, including President-elect Donald Trump. Prosecutors say the suspects wanted to take out the...
All right, guys. I got to mention the fact that it seems like our president of the United States has a price on his head. If they're willing to make an offer of unlimited amounts of money for you to accomplish the job, and that is actually an act of war, which is pretty scary. So, let's go on.
Former commander-in-chief before the 2024 election. It comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke out for the first time since Trump's win, praising him for showing courage when a gunman tried to assassinate Trump during a Pennsylvania campaign rally in July. Putin said Moscow is ready for dialogue with the president-elect, adding that, quote, a new world order is taking shape before our eyes.
Oh my God, the man said it. A new world order is forming in front of our eyes. Vladimir Putin is somebody who is a strong man, a strong leader. There's no arguing that point. The man is a strong leader. And, it goes down, gets up to this is an example of just how strong this leader is. Shirtless, horseback riding. All right. And look at our leader. This man gets shot at. We've seen this. This is a moment in history. Fight, fight, fight. The same way everybody sat behind him and didn't move when the shots were fired. Trump stood there too. He stayed there and everybody was concerned about him. That's amazing. And for him to have gotten nicked on the ear, that's outrageous. And the weird part about it is that this is for a freaking job. Would you drop out? Would you drop out of the race if you had an attempted assassination on your life that if it were off by a few degrees, it would have blown the back of his head off? So you've got to give it to the man as the fact that, you've got to respect him for his perseverance, for really putting this country in front of his own life. And he has yet to become the president of the United States still. He is currently the president-elect. The thing about it is that there are so many questions with regards to who these people are. And unfortunately, that entire report from an ABC affiliate was only a minute and a half long. So they didn't put much time into it at all, which is pretty darn sad. But moving on.
Work Friday on the transition back to Washington. In his first key appointment since November 5th, he selected campaign manager Susie Wiles to be his White House chief of staff.
Susie likes to stay sort of in the back.
This is the same ABC affiliate.
The ice babe. We call her the ice babe.
Others rumored to join Trump's team in the West Wing are Robert Kennedy Jr., Elon Musk, Senator Marco Rubio, and Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo. Sources tell ABC News that New York Representative
I don't know
Elise
much about
Stefanik
this lady. I'm
is
kind
the
of curious.
leading
If you could do me a
candidate
favor,
for
leave
U.S. Ambassador to the
comments
United
below.
Nations and will
Give me a
likely be
quick
vetted
synopsis
for the
about her.
role.
We must work and are committed to working around the clock to ensure President Trump is victorious this November.
And again, no official decision has been made on this, but Trump has about 2 months to lock down a team. Reporting live at the White House, Ben Kennedy, Local 10 News.
So again, you know what? Thank you for the reporting. You spent absolutely no time on the assassination attempt on the president-elect. Ridiculous. Oh, and by the way, this is the report from BBC.
Charged in New York tonight in connection with alleged Iranian plans to murder Donald Trump and other American citizens. One of the men hasn't been arrested and is believed to be in Iran. Prosecutors say the plan dates back to September before the presidential election. Our North America editor, Sarah Smith, is in Florida tonight. Sarah.
Yeah, the three men have been charged with trying to assassinate Donald Trump during the presidential campaign and doing so under the instruction of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. The criminal complaint alleges that an Iranian asset was told to hire people in the United States to conduct surveillance on Donald Trump and ultimately to try to assassinate him. They were told that money was no object whatsoever.
Money was no object whatsoever. Again, they put a bounty on President Trump. Sound about right to you?
If they couldn't get
Comment
the
below,
plan
please.
together within 7 days, then they were to wait until Donald Trump loses the election, they were told, when the Iranians believed it would be easier to kill him.
Enjoying his victory on Tuesday night, Donald Trump could also celebrate surviving the campaign after 2 serious attempts to kill him and a separate Iranian assassination plot.
As you know, there have been 2 assassination attempts on my life that we know of, and they may or may not involve, but possibly do, Iran.
That is scary. Well, my question then is going to be, how is this man going to deal with that? This is going to be a question as to whether or not he takes an assassination attempt on his life personally, or if he negotiates, holding the upper hand as to what's going on. Let's see what happens in the future here.
President Biden said it would constitute an act of war if Iran tried to kill Donald Trump after U.S. intelligence services warned of a specific Iranian plot.
We've been threatened very directly by Iran, and I think you have to let them know, because the best way to do it is through the office of the president, that you do any attacks on former presidents or candidates for president, your country gets blown to smithereens, as we say.
Wow. Wow.
Donald Trump narrowly survived being killed at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, when a bullet grazed his ear. The gunman was killed at the scene, and his motives remain unknown.
Keep walking!
Another would-be assassin was arrested when he was discovered with a semi-automatic rifle hiding in the bushes when Donald Trump was playing golf. He was angry about the war in Ukraine.
Yes, and you know what? Thing about it is that you don't hear about these anymore. The news dropped it pretty darn quick. You know what? Again, it's not something that you hear about at all, and it's something that Trump didn't bring up too much in the race.
Top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was killed in a US drone strike in Iraq at the end of Donald Trump's first term as president. He considers that a very proud achievement.
Soleimani has been perpetrating acts of terror to destabilize the Middle East for the last 20 years. What the United States did yesterday should have been done long ago.
The Iranian regime insists Donald Trump should face trial for what the United Nations declared to be an unlawful killing of General Soleimani, and has said that if he's not tried in court, then Iran will take its revenge. President-elect Trump will surely now be considering his response to Iran. Sarah Smith, BBC News, West Palm Beach.
Well, we'll have more from Sarah in a moment. But first, though, let's talk about the implications of all of this with our diplomatic correspondent, James Landale. And how will this affect policy potentially once Donald Trump is actually in office?
Well, Jane, as Sarah made clear in her report, Donald Trump and Iran have history. Not only did he order the assassination of that Iranian Revolutionary Guard general, Qasem Soleimani, he also imposed a policy of what he called maximum pressure on Iran, effectively stiff economic sanctions designed to make it much harder for Iran to fund its proxy militias, Hamas and Hezbollah. He also pulled Iran, the United States, out of an international deal that was designed to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions in the return for lifting those economic sanctions. But that was 4 years ago. The world is very different now. Iran is locked in a direct war with Israel. And Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, wants to step up his attacks on Iran, potentially even targeting its nuclear and energy facilities. Now, thus far, Joe Biden has resisted this, fearing escalation. The question now is, will Donald Trump say, actually, no, we want to give Israel a freer hand? Some of his aides say that is possible because he will take this kind of plot personally. Others, though, disagree. And they say, look, remember, Donald Trump said, and I quote in his victory speech, I'm not going to start wars, I'm going to stop wars. So it may be that he wants not to escalate a conflict that potentially could drag the United States in. So Iran could be the first big test of the Trump presidency, a test between his heart saying revenge, his head saying caution. I think what is clear, though, is the moment he takes power, that we will see maximum pressure marked to a big package of sanctions against Iran, designed to stop basically it selling oil to China.
Yep. He's absolutely right. You know what? The reality of the situation is that I think we would all hope for peace in this world. And you know what? If Trump is able to make that happen, why would you want to fight that? The man, he has sacrificed, he has placed his life in danger, mortal danger, on more than one occasion, and he has yet to step into the White House. So, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think. Would you push through even after somebody shot you and nearly took your life? Nearly took your life. Again, comment below. Thank y'all. Shoots.